Jin Lashan, a young blonde man in a white suit, is an industrial mechanical designer. Well, there he was in a hospital bed, with an oxygen mask and wires connected to his chest. After long hours of overtime work, he suffered from heart failure and was on the verge of death. Now, sitting on a luxurious throne, Jin Lashan holds a newspaper. Our hero finds himself in a new body and in an ancient era. He recalls that he thought he could live a life of luxury as a second-generation rich kid. He was dragged into the power struggles of that continent. Then, our hero, accompanied by a pink-haired woman, observes a countryside landscape. He explains that to solve the food shortage in his territory, he used his industrial knowledge. As industrial progress advanced, Jin Lashan faced more and more enemies. With that, he decided to use his industrial knowledge to save the people who matter most to him. Business acumen and talent for combat, our protagonist has everything. Then Jin Lashan covers his face with his hand. He challenges the mages to tremble before the power of industry. Jin Lashan walks towards a bright future, determined to become an emperor of magic and technology. Are you curious to see how all this happened and how our hero will turn this feudal world upside down with his knowledge? Well then, grab your popcorn and let's start from the beginning. Back in the emergency room, someone yells for a doctor, informing them that the patient is having difficulty breathing and asks for a ventilator. Mechanical engineer Jin Lashan is seen lying on the stretcher while doctors work around him. Our hero reveals that, due to overwork, his heart suffered a stroke and now he is about to die. Then, he begins to remember his whole journey to get there. The young Jin Lashan, holding a teddy bear, sitting on the street in a cold and desolate environment, was sad because shortly after his birth, his parents died in a car accident and he became an orphan. Now, older, he finds himself in a dark and empty office. He reports that after graduating, he spent 20 years in the company, living a nightmare with an extremely low salary. On a rainy street, Jin Lashan walks alone under an umbrella. He regrets being single all his life and never having held a girl's hand. Desperate, he questions the meaning of a life like that. Meanwhile, the doctors call for him, trying to wake him up. In the operating room, they order the immediate use of the defibrillator. But Jin Lashan feels tired of everything, and decides to just sleep a little. Suddenly, our hero wakes up in a luxurious room of a huge castle. He wonders if this is a hospital and how much such a luxurious room would cost. Suddenly, a holographic panel appears above him, displaying information about the Eldera magical continent. Jin Lashan, curious, wonders what that is and tries to touch the panel, but a shock runs through his body. Confused, he wonders what is happening and why he looks so different when looking in the mirror. A week later, Jin Lashan, sitting in a chair, reads a book. Suddenly, someone enters the room. Leah, a young pink-haired maid, warns that Master Rain's tea is ready. Jin Lashan thanks her. Then he states that after a week, he finally understands his new position. Our hero finally realized that he died and reincarnated as a man named Rain Edgar. This Rain Edgar is the third son of Grand Duke Alfaria Edgar, and he has a brother and a sister. Unlike his past life, now he has a family. At a family dinner, his brother encourages him to eat, so he doesn't go hungry while he grows up. His brother offers him a magic water, on which he spent a lot of money, and says that if he drinks it, his magic power will increase. His mother hands him a new coat that she made herself and asks him to try it on to see if it fits. Rain Edgar is the youngest son of the family and therefore adored by everyone. Faced with so much affection, he wonders if this is some kind of compensation for his terrible past life. While looking at a map, he discovers that the continent he lives on is called Eldria, a world where all facilities depend on magic to function. The Caradorial Empire is the largest human empire on the continent. On the continent, there are not only human nations, but also races like elves and dwarves. The Edgar family is a noble family with a territory of about 300,000 square kilometers and approximately 1 million subjects. As a nobleman, Rain Edgar not only has fine clothes, but also a personal maid to serve him. Living such a happy life, he thinks that this must be the result of his hard work in his past life. Then, Leah warns Master Rain that the Lord has something to discuss with him and asks him to accompany her. In his office, Lord Edgar reviews some documents. A butler announces the arrival of young Master Rain. Lord Edgar allows him to enter. Rain enters the room and greets his father. Aldarian Edgar, who is also his father and the lord of those lands, asks if he knows why he called him there, but our hero replies that he doesn't know. His father then explains that he has reached the age to manage his own territory and asks if he has already decided where he would like to go. Rain, surprised, wonders if he will inherit a territory. Lord Edgar, with his hand on his head, confirms. Then he gets up and walks towards a map. Pointing to the map, he explains that the territory Rain will assume in the future is in the northwest. Although it is relatively safe due to the scarcity of mages, the problem of food production has been difficult to solve. Lord Edgar continues, saying that although their lands are safe at the moment, the future of the Caradorial Empire is not so optimistic. Rain agrees, stating that what his father said is true. The royal family of the Caradorial Empire is in decline. Corruption and political deception are abundant. Open and covert conflicts between the various lords of the empire are countless. Rain reflects that in that world, after his reincarnation, he experienced affection and concern like never before. Determined, he states that he will never lose the people who care about him. Meanwhile, Lord Edgar wonders if he is putting too much pressure on his son, and he says that Rain doesn't need to feel pressured, and that his older brother, his sister, and he, his father, are all there to support him. Suddenly, Rain asks his father if, with the food problem solved, the security of the territory will improve. Lord Edgar thinks that, as expected, he is still just a child, thinking that the problem is very simple. But Rain states that he is not relying on mere passion, but on the centuries-old wisdom of the human industrial revolution. Confident, he tells his father to leave the food problem to him. Aisling City, the westernmost land of Grand Duke Aldarian's territory, borders enemy territory, Sorin, to the north. To the west, it borders the territory of the elves, and to the south lies the vast ocean. Due to its location at the intersection of three nations, Aisling City is often the scene of wars. Frequent wars left what was once fertile land barren, and the population dwindling, with people barely surviving. Amidst the war scene, a child cries, holding a teddy bear, while bodies and flags burn around him. Then, a carriage pulled by two horses crosses a forest. Leah watches Rhine. Rain thinks that the prerequisite for an industrial revolution is a sufficient workforce. Inside the carriage, he reads a document and thinks he needs to find a way to increase the population. And a surprising thing is that he seems to have gained some kind of ability. Suddenly, a system appears with the message, "Host, please use the scanning skill on a person." Using his skill, Rain scans a person and can clearly observe their stats. Testing on his family, Rain gained a general understanding of the people in that world. Then, our hero states that his first priority upon arriving in the territory is to recruit talented individuals. Suddenly, Leah begins to remember the request her master made to her. Lord Edgar asked her to keep an eye on Rain and make sure he doesn't cause trouble in the territory. Then, in her mind, he pleads that he not give her any trouble. Arriving in Aisling City, at the city lord's mansion, a man in a purple suit comments that he heard that the Grand Duke's youngest son will arrive in the city that day and asks if they should act first. The crazy one comments that it is rumored that not only does Grand Duke Aldarian extremely spoil his youngest son, but even his brother and sister adore him. Then, a masked man sitting in an armchair suggests that they wait and await further instructions from the master. Worried, the mustached man asks what will happen if Rain discovers their tax and financial fraud. The masked man states that a spoiled young noble master like him would not understand the tax and financial records, and he states that as soon as the young master arrives, just give him some random accounts to confuse him. The masked man says that based on the time, the young master should be arriving soon, and suggests that the man in purple go greet him. Then, he states that it is time for Aldarian to pay for his crimes. Rain and Leia arrive in the territory. Rain observes the desolate landscape and comments that, as he thought, due to the lack of population, the land that was once cultivable has become desolate. Soon, he asks Leah to show him the map of the area. She quickly hands him the map. Our hero analyzes the map and thinks that if they could dredge the river to the west and build a canal connecting it to the southern seaport. But before he could finish his reasoning, he hears a woman yelling at her father to stop gambling. Rain observes them. The woman pleads, saying that the money is for her mother's treatment. Furious, the man demands the money, stating that he needs to win this time. He tries to take the money by force, saying that he will surely win this time. But his daughter resists, stating that the money is for her mother's treatment. The man threatens her, saying that if she doesn't give him the money, he will beat her. But seeing this, Rain quickly approaches and punches the man, throwing him away. Rain seriously faces the situation with a badass look. But our prince is so spoiled that he still has a child's spirit, so he complains that it hurt, while Leah tries to reassure him. She asks that if he plans to hit someone again, to let her know in advance, so she can prepare his protective gear. But he explains that it was an impulsive act, and asks Leah to check on the girl's condition while he goes to have a conversation with that scoundrel. As our hero walks towards him, the sucker puts his hand to his face. Then, Rain questions him for using the money that would save his family's life to gamble and still hit his daughter. Our hero asks if he is crazy. Scared, the man asks who he is. Rain says that who he is doesn't matter. The important thing is that if he finds out that he went to the casino again, he will have someone cut off his head. Terrified, the man swears never to gamble again and runs away. Soon, Rain asks the girl if she's okay, and he thinks about checking her physical condition with the system. The girl thanks him. Crying, she says that if the money for her mother's treatment had been stolen, she wouldn't know what to do. Rain soon has an idea. Then he uses his scanning ability on her and discovers that, although her stats are not high, the girl has a natural talent called farming. And with that, he states that he needs to recruit her, as she will be vital for future agriculture. Rain says that since she will be going into town to look for a doctor for her mother, she should take their carriage, as they are also going into town. Embarrassed, she says that she is very dirty and that she will dirty the carriage. But Rain replies that it is just a few wooden boards put together to form a means of transportation, and that cleanliness doesn't matter. Then he states that he has something he would like to ask her. Thoughtful, he questions her how there is a casino nearby with such severe poverty. Then he remembers that last fall, the Grand Duke of their enemy country, Soren, attacked the city, causing the death of many soldiers. That spring, there was a great flood, destroying much land and crops. The lives of the citizens became hell. Even finding a meal became problematic. Then, after a few hours, they finally arrive at the location. Rain, as he walks through the city, thinks that he needs to take a census to find out how much productive force they have. Soon, he states that they will first go to the city lord's estate to see how much money is available to use as development funds. He asks the girl her name and where the lord's estate is. But when she was about to answer, a blonde knight on a horse approaches and orders them to get out of the way, calling them peasants. Leah warns Rain to be careful and protects him from the knight. Suddenly, the crazy guy passes right by them. Leah stares at him seriously. Then she hugs Rain tightly. But our hero asks her to let him go because he can't breathe. Worried, she asks if he is okay and if he feels any pain. Rain replies that thanks to Leah, he is fine. Then he asks the girl who that man is. She replies that he is the young master of the Edwin family and that all the casinos in Isling City belong to their family. Then Rain comments that they must be rich, and the girl confirms. Our hero smiles and comments that this is great, as he was worried about not knowing where to get the funds for development. He orders Lillian to take them to the casino. Worried, she warns that if he goes there, all his money will be stolen by the casino. But confident, Rain replies not to worry, as the casino can't beat him. Soon, she observes him seriously. Lillian thinks about how powerful this young noble master is. Then, they arrive at the casino. Rain states that those people will have to wait to be annihilated by his industrialized production line. Upon entering the casino, a random man asks to borrow 10 more gold coins, promising to return them. Meanwhile, another man celebrates for having won, but soon his opponent despairs. Rain approaches a table while more and more people gamble away their money and sanity. Then, he thinks that as long as casinos exist, people will never work properly. Leah approaches him and warns that the soldiers have already surrounded the casino and asks if he wants to act. But Rain says to wait for the big fish first. Then, an attendant asks Rain what he would like to play. Our hero replies that he doesn't know, that he's just playing around, and asks if there's anything easy. Soon, the attendant invites him to follow him. Now, at the table, a man hands him 2 chips, saying that these will be on the house, and asks him to try his luck. Then, Rain throws his chips on the square written small. Instantly, the attendant and the man smile maliciously, and upon opening the roulette, the result is 466. That is, it's big. The attendant laments, saying it was a shame because he almost won. Then Rain comments that it wasn't funny at all and calls for Leah and Lillian to leave because he's hungry. But the attendant stops him and states that he can only leave after paying the money he owes them. Confused, Rain asks when he owed them money. The attendant explains that he borrowed those 2 chips and that he has to pay the money back first. Our hero asks if they hadn't said those chips were on the house. The attendant smiles maliciously and replies that he must be kidding because nothing there is free. He continues, saying that each chip is worth 100 gold coins, but including the service fee and interest, he owes 250 gold coins. Soon, the attendant states that if he didn't bring enough money that day, he can also leave his maid as collateral, but Lillian quickly gets irritated and calls him a liar. She intervenes, warning Rain not to believe him because each chip is worth only 1 silver coin, and accuses the attendant of lying shamelessly. Then, nervous, the attendant yells at her, asking where that bastard came from and how dare she ruin his plans, ordering someone to beat her up. But before they could move, Rain quickly approaches and hits the attendant. Then he falls hard on one of the tables, knocking over all the chips. Soon, Rain asks who let him talk. Meanwhile, 2 crazy people, their brains completely deteriorated by addiction, celebrate and claim that everything is now theirs as they pick up the fallen chips. Rain observes them and states that those people are hopeless. Suddenly, the blonde man from before appears and asks who dares to cause trouble in the casino. He looks at our protagonist seriously. Then, Rain smiles and states that the big fish has arrived. The man orders his henchmen to beat them up and show them what their place is. Then, 2 henchmen grab their clubs and approach. One of the thugs yells at Vaserlo to stop. The other, while getting punched in the face, states that he learned from his mistake and begs to be spared. Scared, the other gamblers watch him. Suddenly, the blonde man yells for everyone to behave, or the same will happen to them. Lillian blames herself for bringing Rain to that place, thinking that if she hadn't done that, they wouldn't have been cheated. Then she thinks about what our protagonist did for her, and in her mind comes Rain asking one of his doctors to save her mother, stating that he will pay the money. And soon, she states that she needs to pay him back. Determined, she states that she will not allow them to bully her older brother and older sister. The henchmen watch Lillian furiously, wondering whose child she is. One of them remarks that it's over for her, after all. In Isling City, no one who angered Vaserlo has met a good end. Then the blonde man turns and asks her what she has to say, but Lillian interrupts him, accusing the casino of cheating everyone and destroying countless families. She declares that she won't let them intimidate her older brother and sister because they are good people. But furious, the blonde man orders her to die as he prepares to strike her. Scared, Lillian thinks she will be hit, but our hero protects her. Soon, Rain uses his scanning ability on him and is surprised to see that not only are his attributes bad, but his loyalty score is only 5. Surprised, he states that for his position, he needed to be careful. Soon, Vaserlo Eldrin asks Rhine if he doesn't seem to like his ways either. Our hero replies that no, he actually likes his ways a lot and states that only the strong can survive in this world. Soon he adds that whoever wins laughs last. The blonde man scoffs and says that he will still go against him and asks if he doesn't know who he is. Confidently, Rhine replies that he doesn't need to know who he is, but only one thing. Then he claps his hands, calling for the reinforcements that were waiting outside. In a matter of seconds, soldiers invade the casino. Then our hero states that he will win the fight, have the last last laugh and that his words are the law. Meanwhile, at the Lord's estate in the same location, a person comments that he heard that Mr. Lucas has earned more money recently, but he states that all of that is thanks to the city lord. Soon, a man in a blue suit takes a sip of wine. Then he remembers the plan he devised moments before that banquet with the city lord, asking him to give our protagonist a little scare when he arrived. Later, during the banquet, the guy makes a toast to a woman in a green dress. Meanwhile, he wonders where that rain boy ran off to. Thoughtful, he states that if he were there, he could build a relationship with the Grand Duke's son and give himself some freedom. Then he states that he can't trust the lord of that garbage city too much. Soon, a butler announces the arrival of His Highness Rain Edgar. Our hero enters the dining room. Then the head of the Raven family introduces himself and says that he brought some gifts. Another man also introduces himself as the head of the Rouster family and says that he brought his daughter for Rain to have a look at. Rain smiles and says that if everyone is already there, let's begin. Then, two men carry a large blackboard. Curious, one of them wonders what it is. As the blackboard is placed on the floor, everyone starts to wonder what the heck that is, even mistaking it for a house project. But Ryan states that it is actually the blueprint he drew of the dam and says that they will ensure that it is feasible during its construction. People wonder what a dam is and if it is for catching fish. Rain asks them not to worry, as he will explain. Soon, he asks Leah to give him the map. Then, he states that he has already taken a look at the geographical location of Aisling City that afternoon. And pointing to a part of the map, he explains that there is a big flood every year due to the river north of the city. Then, he continues, stating that as long as they build a dam there, they can stop the floods during the rainy seasons and irrigate the crops during droughts. The guy in blue considers it an excellent idea and thinks that if they really manage to build that dam, Aisling City's agricultural production will improve greatly. Impressed, he thinks that that Grand Duke's son is not a simple man. Then one of the old men asks Rain what that has to do with them, and confidently Rain smiles and replies that he needs money, because every project needs money. But all the nobles complain about being poor. Meanwhile, the guy in blue thinks that although Ryan is smart, he is also very naive to want those vampires to finance that. But Ryan interrupts his thoughts, stating that they are not poor and says he has a good way to make money. Then he explains that he raided a casino that afternoon and got about 50,000 gold coins from it and asks them how many other casinos there must be in that city. Surprised, the nobles wonder if he really raided a casino and wonder which one it was, hoping it wasn't the one they invested in. Then they remember that all the casinos in Aisling City are run by Adrian and think that that young master is getting into trouble. Meanwhile, Adrian thinks Rain is an idiot, because if he had stayed quiet, he probably wouldn't have done anything to him. But since he started the fight, he will destroy him. Soon, he confronts Rain, accusing him of violating the laws of the Caradorial nation with his actions of raiding the casino. The other nobles agree, stating that he must not violate the laws of the Caradorial nation. Then they state that Rain is not right, and that Master Adrian is right. Irritated, the nobles ask how Rain could do that, considering casinos as legal businesses and shouting that he can't just raid them because he wants to. Soon, Adrian calls Rain naive, claiming that he doesn't know how to control people. But our hero accuses them of pretending to be poor the moment he asked for donations. But he claims to know all about their involvement with the casinos and says he will give them one last chance. Our protagonist continues, ordering them to give up now, or he will make them give up himself. Adrian then asks if Rain doesn't think the Grand Duke wouldn't forgive him if he found out about his actions there. The other nobles agree, asking Rain to know his place and not to mess things up. But Rain smiles and asks if they want to talk about the law. Then, he orders his soldiers to arrest everyone, as he will talk to them about the law that day. Soon, the soldiers arrest and gag the two henchmen who tried to assault our protagonist at the casino. Adrian, confused, wonders how those two ended up there, as they were always by Vaserlo's side. Soon, Rain asks Adrian if he recognizes them, but he replies that he doesn't and that he's never seen them before, and asks what the meaning of this is. Then, our protagonist asks Adrian not to be alarmed, as it's nothing much, and explains that they simply tried to assassinate him that afternoon. Soon, Rain remembers what they said about Iceling City, that its power allowed them to obscure the sky with a single hand, and that someone in Iceling was supporting them. Then Rhine says to untie them and see if anyone at the party recognizes them. Soon, the other nobles are surprised to recognize the two as followers of Master Veserlo. Then, they ask if Rain just said that they tried to assassinate him. Then, a nobleman comments that it looks like Mr. Adrian's luck has run out. Soon, he thinks that if those two were allowed to speak, the whole family would be ruined. Scared, Adrian holds a knife. Furious, he stands up and yells at the two, asking how dare they attack the Grand Duke's son, and calls them scoundrels. Then he orders them to pay with their lives as he advances. Adrian stabs the knife into the two men, who spray blood around that audience. Frightened, the other nobles watch without understanding. Soon, Adrian recomposes himself and says that he was overcome with rage and acted inappropriately after hearing about the assassination attempt, asking Rain to punish him as he sees fit. Our hero smiles and comments that with such a strong sense of justice, Mr. Adrian is truly a great nobleman, but he replies that Rain is too kind and says he only did what he should have done. Then, Rain orders them to bring in the main culprit, as he wants to see if there are more excellent nobles like Mr. Adrian at that party. Then, Veserlo is brought into the dining room, while yelling for them to let him go, calling the soldiers peasants. Soon he brags, saying that his father is the greatest nobleman in all of Iceling, and threatens Rhine, saying that as soon as he frees himself, he will ask his father to kill him. Adrian then confirms that he was captured, which is why he couldn't find him. Furious, Veserlo yells at Rhine, asking how dare he kill his servants, and threatens him, saying that he is screwed in his hand. Then he continues, calling Rain a bitch and threatening to kill and torture him as soon as he is released. Veserlo states that he will make Rain wish he had killed himself at that moment. Then, our protagonist smiles and asks if he not only wants to kill him, but also torture him. Veserlo confirms, stating that no one in Iceling can face him. Suddenly, our hero praises him, saying that this is the first time he has met someone as brave as him. Then he turns to Adrian and asks if he doesn't think so too. Suddenly, Veserlo's eyes widen and he yells, "Father!" The sucker then mocks Rain, calling him a brat and saying that his days are numbered because he doesn't know who his father is. But Adrian interrupts him, telling him to shut up while calling him an ungrateful child. Then Adrian orders him to kneel at that moment. Confused, Veserlo asks his father what is going on, but Adrian ignores him and repeats his order, forcing him to kneel. Then he begs Rain to spare his son, claiming that he is young and naive. Soon he says he is willing to give Rain everything he owns. Meanwhile, in his mind, his son remembers the advice his father had given him the day before, telling him to get close to Rain, as he would arrive in the territory the next day to take over. Then, Veserlo despairs as he finally discovers that Rain is the Grand Duke's son. Then, Rain asks why he would have so many soldiers. Desperate, Veserlo begs Rain to spare him, saying that he made a terrible mistake and that he won't do it again. Adrian also begs Rain to give the Eldrin family a chance. Soon, he kneels, stating that the Eldrin family swears their lives to him. Our hero then observes them, but orders them to hand over everything they have earned illegally over the years, and thus he will guarantee their safety. Relieved, Adrian thanks him, stating that he is safe, but soon he thinks that he must tell Rain some truths about the people around there. Then, he approaches Rain and warns him that City Lord Eldric has contacted outside forces in an attempt to betray the Grand Duke. The other nobles are shocked by the news of the City Lord's rebellion. Irritated, Adrian gets up and curses the traitors, but our protagonist turns and reminds him that he let them go, but states that even so, they are slandering the Lord and questioning his loyalty. Then, he orders the immediate execution of those who are spreading nonsense. Soon, Adrian is startled, and the Lord of that city, upon hearing that, thinks that it's just like that master said. The young master is not only stupid, but also impulsive. Meanwhile, the Lord praises Rain for his intelligence and quick action, stating that they are much appreciated. He then swears complete loyalty to Rain and the Grand Duke, stating that he would never think of rebellion. Rain asks him not to worry, as he believes in him. Then our hero uses his scanning ability and confirms his suspicions. Satisfied, he thinks that that sucker will definitely not betray him. Later, in the office, Rain calculates that those nobles handed over about more than 100,000 in gold, the equivalent of about 2 years of taxes that Aisling receives. Soon, Leah arrives with a cup of black tea for him. Then our hero asks if she knows how rich those nobles are. Soon, Leah questions him about his plans for Adrian. Worried, Leah thinks that if the city lord is really planning to rebel, Rain will be in danger. But our hero reassures her, saying that he understands her concern, but that there is no need to rush. Then, he states that he is sure that Eldrick is planning to rebel, but that he can't just show his cards at that moment. Leah asks why. Our protagonist stretches and explains that he is exposed, but his enemies are still in the shadows, and if he acts rashly, things will fall into chaos. So it is better for him that they think he is just a rich and ignorant boy before he gets to the bottom of it. Soon, he thinks about resuming reading that book on hydraulic engineering. The next day, at the Mages Guild, Master Malcolm yells that this is pure nonsense. Then the Lord tries to reassure him, explaining that Rain is young and in a hurry to prove his worth to the Grand Duke. But Malcolm interrupts him and yells at him, saying that he doesn't need to take the Grand Duke's side, as even he needs to show respect to the mages when he speaks to them. The Lord states that he was wondering how he would bribe the Mages Guild. Then the Master gets even angrier when he sees the recruitment letter for the Aisling City Water Conservation Project, yelling that Rhine brought that upon himself. Then, indignant, he states that he is going to have a few words with Rhine, but the Lord interrupts him, asking him to wait, but meanwhile, he thinks that he has offended the Magic Guild, and that from now on, he will be alone in Aisling. Later, on his property, Rhine thinks that he has returned to the days of making engineering drawings and nothing more. Suddenly, Leah enters his office and announces that the master of the Mages Guild, Malcolm, would like to meet him. Rain asks who he is. Now, in the dining room, Malcolm, furious, asks what the meaning of this is and accuses him of insulting the Mages Guild. Rain asks what he is talking about and wonders when he insulted the Mages Guild. Then Malcolm accuses him of playing dumb, showing him the recruitment letter in which he states that he refuses to accept applications from mages. Our hero then takes the letter and asks what's wrong, as he is just building a dam. But furious, the guildmaster yells that there's no way that's not a provocation to the guild, since he clearly refused to recruit mages. Then, Rhine wonders if the world there is so cruel, as even mages take on physically demanding jobs. But Malcolm threatens Rain, stating that if he doesn't give him a reasonable explanation, all the mages in the guild will refuse to work for him from that moment on. Then, Rain uses his investigation skill and discovers that Malcolm's loyalty is not low. Soon, Rain concludes that someone must have irritated him. Then, calmly, our hero says that there was a misunderstanding and that he didn't mean to disrespect the Mages Guild, explaining that there are 3 reasons for not hiring mages at that time. Then, he begins to list the reasons, starting with the amount of mana each day, which is limited and they might not be able to meet the deadline, whereas with the same amount of money he would spend on a mage, he could hire about 10 laborers. And lastly, he explains that most mages live a comfortable life by being part of the guild, but there is no such security for civilians, and as lord of the land, he has to give special attention to them. Still enraged, Malcolm questions him, claiming that with all due respect, magic is the rule in that world, and that those without talent for magic deserve to be below the mages. But Rain replies that he is right, but that he doesn't like that. Determined, Rain states that starting with Aisling, he will make everyone understand that mages are no different from civilians, neither superior nor inferior. Malcolm then suggests that Rain take back what he said if he doesn't want to make them his enemies. Soon, he asks Malcolm to be careful with the tone he is using. Suddenly, Leah threatens him with a knife to his neck, saying that if he insults the nobility, she will cut his throat. Scared, Malcolm asks what kind of nonsense that is. But our hero states that if he doesn't believe him, he can ask Leah to cut his throat, and challenges him to take the case to court to see who justice would rule in favor of. Sounding cold, Malcolm despairs, calling Rainmaster and apologizing, asking him to spare his life. Thoughtful, Rain analyzes his stats again and concludes that even in a situation like that, his loyalty didn't decrease because he was completely oblivious that he was being used as a naive fool. Then, he orders Leah to release him. Malcolm thanks Rain for his mercy. Meanwhile, Rain receives a message from the system saying that he completed the novice mission, using the investigation skill on people, and that the reward package for the novice host is available. Rain celebrates for finally completing the system mission and goes to check what the rewards are. Now, outside Rain's property, the Lord approaches Malcolm. Soon, he asks the guildmaster how things went, and then he laments that Rain not only didn't listen to him, but also expelled him. Then, the Lord tells Malcolm that he has an idea that will not only change Rain's mind, but also make him even more respectful of him. The Lord continues, telling Malcolm that when the peasants refuse to work for Rain, he will have no choice but to turn to him. Malcolm then wonders why people wouldn't work for young Master Rain, since he made such a good offer. The Lord then explains that Rain will be disappointed with those peasants if all they do is loaf around. Malcolm then exclaims, incredulous at that idea. He says he's just disappointed that Rain refused to hire mages, but wonders why he would try to sabotage the project because of that. The Lord then says that those peasants are good for nothing anyway, and asks if they even know how to hunt, and then wonders why those useless people would seriously help Master Rain build the dam. Convinced, Malcolm says that he supposes they could try his suggestion. Later that same day, an announcement is made on a board for the people of the city. The poster says it is hiring construction workers for the dam project, with daily hours from 9 to 5, with 3 meals a day, and payment being made at the end of the day, in addition to promising fair treatment for all. A man comments that he heard that the offer is incredible, with 3 meals a day and the payment of 10 copper coins. Then another wonders if the new lord is really that nice, suspecting that it's a trap by the nobles, who have tricked them several times before, and so refuses to go, as he would probably be dead before he even realized it. But Lillian rebukes him, telling him not to dare defame the Lord, as he himself had said that he would try to make everyone's lives better. The 3 men laugh at her, asking what a little girl like her knows, and ask if she has feelings for the cute boy. Then she, along with her father, introduces herself, saying that she would like to apply for the dam project. But the man who is recruiting says that her father will be accepted, but not her. Confused, she wonders why, since she is quite strong. But the man explains that she is not old enough, as Rain had said that those under 18 would not be hired, and that if they hired her behind his back and he found out, he would certainly punish them. Then, he says that her father can participate in the construction of the dam, with 8 hours of work a day and 3 meals provided, with a salary of 10 copper coins that would be paid at the end of each day, and he advises him to leave his fingerprint there and show up at the construction site tomorrow if he has no further questions. Lillian then asks her father to work hard and not to slack off, and finally he reassures her, saying not to worry, as he won't gamble anymore. Determined, Lillian's father states that he will not disappoint young Master Rain. Meanwhile, he hugs his daughter and tells her to stay home and take care of her mother, who can't work in the fields because she's sick. Then, going back inside, the recruiter asks Lillian's father if he just said that his wife is sick. Then he confirms, saying that she is very ill and unable to work. The man then asks who asked her to work, and explains that Rain had said that family members of anyone working for the dam project could temporarily move into the workers' quarters. Confused, Lillian's father asks what workers' quarters are, and the man explains that they could use that as a temporary residence while working on the construction of the dam, and that once the construction was finished, they could return home. Grateful, Lillian's father repeatedly thanks the man, but he asks him to stand up, saying that he will arrange for someone to take him and his daughter to the quarters so they can choose where they want to live. Seeing this, the other men are motivated and ask if the new lord was telling the truth and decide to sign up immediately so as not to miss that chance. Immediately afterwards, the man who is recruiting asks everyone to get in line and to form a straight line without pushing. That same day, Rain is in his office analyzing the information in the reward package for the novice host, which granted him an iron lithium phosphate battery project. He then wonders what the heck he should do with batteries without a generator, and wonders if the system wants him to charge the batteries by being struck by lightning. Soon, he receives a new mission to recruit 5 characters with high stats. Thoughtful, Rain wonders where the heck he would find someone like that. Then, he uses his system to analyze Leah's stats and concludes that she has no more room to grow, and so he will have to go to town to look for talent again. Later, Leah announces that Lillian is there to see him. Rain then asks her to come in. The girl enters the room and warns Rain that things are strange at the construction site, as everyone is unfocused. Soon, Rain wonders what she means by that. Then, at the construction site, Lillian complains to her father, asking why he is taking another break. He tells her that he is not slacking off, and that he has been feeling tired since he woke up that morning, and that no one there has any energy either. But Lillian rebukes them, asking why they are still slacking off even after receiving such a good offer from Rain. One of the men tries to explain, saying that they are not trying to do that and that they haven't been feeling well since morning. The other says that maybe it's because it's been a long time since the last time they worked, and so they are all sick with instant work exhaustion. Another states that they will probably feel better if they rest for a day and that there will always be tomorrow, but Lillian rebukes them, saying that they should stop with that nonsense and that they are probably just lazy and that there is no such thing as a disease like that. Then she tells Rain that they should listen to him and asks him to tell them to work harder and not to slack off. Rain then approaches Lillian's father. Then, using his system, Rain checks the man's stats, Rock Elrord, and discovers that he is under the effect of a curse. Our hero then tells Lillian that they are not sick. Immediately afterwards, purple lightning bolts fall from the sky and strike the place where the workers are. Rain tells Lillian that they are cursed. After that, Rain, Leah, and Lillian watch them incredulously. Then, Rain activates the system's prospecting skill. He states that he planned to use it when the dam construction began, but says that it seems he will be able to test it now. Then, information about the skill appears in the system, saying that through prospecting, the host can analyze the state of rocks, strata, formations, minerals, hydrology, and landforms in a specific area. Then, a 3-dimensional image of the ground appears, showing its different layers. Rain then asks the system to analyze the geological condition of that area, and a message appears saying that it is analyzing the geological conditions within a radius of 10 kilometers, asking him to wait. Immediately afterwards, he states that there is no oil or metals there, which is a shame. But suddenly, something appears on the map. Rain wonders what that is. Then he asks Rock to dig further in that spot because he thinks there's something there. Rock confirms the order, saying that it's nothing, even though they are all tired. Then, while Rock digs, our hero asks what that is, as it seems they have unearthed something they shouldn't have. Leah then wonders if Rain is really a genius at magic, since the magic of that was so weak that even she couldn't feel it. Rain then orders them to dig up the crystal and put it in the box. Rock and the others confirm the order. Then Rain asks Leah what people normally do when they are cursed. Leah replies that they can go to church to have a priest remove the curse, or that they can look for a high-level mage from the Mages Guild. Upon hearing this, our hero quickly suspects the mage who came to visit him. Rain then tells Lillian to follow him along with her father, as they will go look for a priest. Lillian asks him if her father really was cursed, and he assures her that whoever did that will not go unpunished. Soon after, Rain, Lillian, her father, and Leah are in a church before a nun. The nun greets them, calling Rain master. Rain then thinks that since he is asking her to treat someone, it is better to make sure her loyalty is good first, and uses his investigation skill. Soon, Saint Iuria's stats are displayed, showing that she is an elf. Surprised, Rain realizes that she is not even human. Then, Saint Ioria introduces herself and asks what he wants. Our hero says that the man next to him appears to be cursed and asks if she can do anything about it. Rain thinks that her loyalty seems good and decides to let her examine the man first. Ioria then asks to be allowed to inspect him first. Soon, her eyes widen, emitting an absurdly bright light. Rock protects his head with his arm. Then, Ioria confirms that the man is indeed cursed. Rain asks if she can remove the curse. She confirms, and soon a strong golden light emanates from her hands. Rock watches in fright as an orb heads towards him. Then, purple smoke comes out of his body. Suddenly, Rock thanks Rain, saying that he feels like a new man, and that he will return to work immediately, and that he will finish all the work he was supposed to do that day, and even more. Rain says there is no need to rush, as it will not be too late to start after they have sorted everything out. Then, he shows her the crystal and asks if she knows what it is. Ioria replies that this dark crystal is the most common magic crystal, explaining that a large amount of magic has been stored inside it for the curse effect to occur, but that it is more like a prank than a curse. She continues, saying that the caster is capable of killing anyone with the same amount of magic, but that all he is doing is making people feel tired. Rain then asks if it is very easy to make that kind of crystal. Ioria replies that it would be very easy for a high-level mage to make one and hide it at Rain's construction site daily. Upon hearing this, our hero asks how she knows about his project, and she replies that this project will greatly benefit the civilians, and asks how she wouldn't know about it, and even comments that, thanks to the project hiring many people, the pressure on the church is also much less. Rain thinks that it seems he will have to teach that old man a lesson. Then he asks Ioria if she has a way to remove the curse from the entire construction site, but she replies that this would be difficult, as they managed to find the crystal that day, but that they might not be so lucky again, and even asks who will do the construction work if all they are doing is digging up the crystal. Rain thinks that it seems he will still have to talk to Malcolm about that. Saint Ioria then says that she knows someone who can solve his problem, although she is a little strange, and asks if he would like to try anyway. A while later, Rain and Leah go to the location, arriving at a huge property. Rain then realizes that this is the house of Lady Selena, former president of the Mages Guild, and says that, one way or another, he will convince her to help him. Leah warns him to be careful, but suddenly, an explosion occurs. Startled, Rain and Leah wonder what is happening. While hugging his maid, our hero wonders what caused that. Meanwhile, inside the property, a woman asks why she failed again, and says that she will not accept that, and that she will not stop until she successfully creates the artifact, even if she has to destroy the entire city of Iceling. A short time later, Selena promptly rejects him, and says that she is busy researching a new magical device, and that she has no time for him. Rain then asks if they are magical devices like wands, but Selena rebukes him, asking him not to insult her with his inferior understanding. Leah then interrupts the conversation and asks Selena to be careful with her tone when speaking to Rain. Selena comments that Leah has great magic in her, and then proposes that she stay there as her assistant, and promises that as soon as she succeeds, she will help Rain. But Leah threatens her, saying that if she doesn't know how to be polite, maybe she will teach her. They both stare at each other seriously as purple and green auras emanate from their eyes. Rain then asks them to calm down, as they are there to ask for help and not to cause trouble, and then asks Selena if she made all those devices that are on the table, and if she is making a magical item. Selena confirms, saying that at least he recognized those failures. She continues, revealing that she is trying to create a device that can store the powerful electrical magic within it. Rain asks, surprised if that's really what she said, and if she's really talking about a magical device to store electricity. Selena confirms and explains that when it doesn't work, an explosion happens like the one that just happened. She then asks them to leave, as she needs to rest a bit before returning to her research. Rain then stares at her and asks what would happen if he told her that he has a way to create a device that can store electricity. Then he asks her if she would help him deal with the Mages Guild, if he teaches her how to create a device that can do that. But Selena, calling him Little Master, says that she already told him that she has no time for nonsense. But Rain insists, saying that he is serious, and repeats his proposal. Selena then accepts, and she says that if Rain can create a magical device like that, she will not only deal with Malcolm, but will also make the Mages Guild listen to him, but threatens him, saying that if he fails, she will not be responsible for his safety. Soon after, Rain, Leah, and Selena head outside the house, where there is a box. Our hero thinks to himself that he was wondering where he would get electricity, but concludes that those mages can replace human electricity generators until the hydraulic generators are built. Then, Selena asks if that device was built exactly as he had instructed, and says that she had already warned him that there is no way those stones can store magic, as they would explode if she used a little magic. But Rain assures her that the capacity of that battery is about 185 watt-hours per kilogram, and asks her to show him how much energy she can store in it. She wonders if it really is as powerful as he said. Selena then holds a cable connected to the battery. Soon, a strong electric current starts to flow through the cable. Selena is surprised to see that it didn't explode. And with that, our hero asks if that was all, as it's not even half of what the battery can handle. Irritated, Selena curses him, saying that she will wipe that smile off his face, and accuses him of knowing nothing about magic. But she continues to release her magic until she is exhausted. Selena, surprised, asks if that can really store her magic. Meanwhile, Rain watches the meters. Then he calculates that that is enough energy to power an electric vehicle for more than 3,000 kilometers, and is impressed with Selena's power, as she managed to reach 87% by herself. Happy, Rain states that this is a convenient human battery bank. Then, holding the two cables, our hero tells the Mages Guild battery banks that it's time to show their talents, and suddenly, he joins them together. Selena then wonders if he can also use electric magic, and our protagonist confirms, saying that not only can he use it, but he can also make everyone in Aisling City able to use it. Selena, now calling him Little Master, asks how magic can be learned so easily, but Rain says that he has even more powerful magical devices than that battery, and if she is willing to help him, he will show her a world where everyone can use magic. Selena thinks of a world where everyone can use magic. Meanwhile, at the Mages Association, Malcolm says that he believes it's time for Rain to come begging for help, but suddenly, Selena arrives and greets him. Malcolm stammers, surprised by the former president's visit. Selena then asks if, by confronting the young lord of the Duke's family, he is trying to rebel or something, but the mage refuses, asking what she is talking about, and says that he would never dare think of something so dangerous. Then Selena grabs him by the clothes and questions him about what kind of dirty tricks he used at the young lord's construction site, and reminds him that his fuse is a bit short. Scared, Malcolm says that he will talk and begs Selena to spare him. Then he confesses to having gathered all the mages in the association and told them that Rhine despised them, making them furious. And he states that he had the mages create crystals that could cast curses and use teleportation magic to place them underground at Rain's construction site, causing the ordinary workers to become exhausted, hoping that Rain would think they were lazy and useless, and that eventually he would apologize to Malcolm and agree to work closely with the Mages Association from then on. Malcolm says that's all and swears that he had no other intentions, but Selena calls him an idiot and asks if he didn't realize that he was being used. Confused, Malcolm asks who used him. Selena then tells him to stop that and go call back those troublemaking mages immediately. Malcolm confirms and runs out of there. Sometime later, Selena tells Rain that she has taken care of the problems with the Mages Association for him. Rain promptly thanks her. Selena then asks if he needs her to deal with Eldrick for him, and even states that she can make him disappear without a trace. But Rain replies that there is no need, because in fact he needs him to help attract an even bigger fish. Selena then says that since he has everything under control, she will back off, but asks when they can start working on those new projects he mentioned, asking him to remember to call her when he does. Rain tells her to first have the association mages fully charge those batteries, and she confirms. Meanwhile, at another location, the Lord reports that it seems the boy has taken control of the Mages Association and asks what they should do, but a mysterious man tells him not to rush, because besides that old witch, there is nothing more to worry about in the Etherlyn City Mages Association, and he even asks him to forget about those lesser mages, and that what he really needs to worry about is that mysterious dam project. Because if it works as the young lord claims, it could revitalize Etherlyn City and its people, and they can't let that happen. The lord then says that he doesn't need to worry about the dam, as he has already set a trap for the young lord, as he was secretly pressuring the nobles responsible for supplying grain to raise prices according to his wishes. The mysterious man then asks if he is sure that the nobles will be on his side. The lord explains that Rain made them hand over their money at the banquet, but that he can help them get it back behind the scenes, and that they might betray him, but they would never betray their own profits. And flipping a coin, he completes, saying that Rain doesn't have enough money to keep the dam project going until it's finished. And then, on the street, a man, while kicking Lillian, yells that if people don't have money, they should get out of there. Our girl, lying on the ground, complains that people just increase without warning, and questions how the price of grain, which was 1 gold coin for 2 bags the day before, can cost 2 gold coins for 1 bag. And then, the fat man continues to complain that the grain is his and that he will sell it for whatever price he wants, and if they can't pay, they should leave. But Lillian remembers that she had promised our protagonist that she would leave the purchase of grain to her, and even promised him that she would buy it at the lowest possible price, and thus save his money. Soon, Lillian confronts those men and asks if they, as greedy crooks that they are not afraid that Rain will deal with them. But he replies that they are just honest businessmen, and asks what he can do with them, and says that this is a golden opportunity and that they will take full advantage of it. And then, the man continues to step on Lillian while cursing her, saying that if she is out of money, she should disappear. Meanwhile, the people watch that scene in fear. Now, at the church, several people gather. Ioria complains, saying that those humans are going too far. Then, Ilaria approaches Ioria with a cart, while she comments that in just 3 days, the price of grain has tripled, and says that this will not be enough for her people to survive the winter. Ioria then asks her to take back those supplies, that she will find out what to do with the rest, and then hands her a bag of coins, asking her to take all that money with her, and when she leaves, pay the usual amount. Ilaria, surprised, says that that money is a lot, and asks if it doesn't normally take even a third of that to bribe those guards. Ioria then puts her hand to her head and tells her to just do as she was told. But suddenly, the money disappears from her hand. Leah then stops in front of them. Surprised, the nun and the other elf exclaim, "A maid?" Then Ran, holding their bag of coins, says that he is interested in making a deal.